Hi guys, and welcome to today's video where we're going to be reviewing the much hyped upcoming ICO called Ocean Protocol. And we're also going to use this ICO as an opportunity to teach you guys how important token economics really are when it comes to investing in ICOs. I know that may sound quite complicated. Don't worry, I'm going to be explaining it step by step in some very easy to understand terms. Hi, I'm Tom from CryptoGurus.com, and if you want to learn more, keep watching. I'm also going to briefly run you guys through how we tend to begin our analysis of an ICO. There are so many ICOs launching every day that it's very difficult to keep up to date with all of them, which is why we go through a 3-step process to break down the most important factors of a project, and if the project passes those steps, then we'll go into more detail studying the white paper, etc. If it fails any of those steps though, we move on to other projects. So we're going to be applying this to the Ocean Protocol ICO to run you guys through a real example. First thing we like to do is basically just to understand what the project is all about. You usually find a video on the homepage of a website, or you can just do a little bit of reading. They should roughly give you an idea of what the project is all about. That's step one, simply to understand what the project is aiming to do. And then from there you have to ask yourselves a bunch of questions. For example, are they solving a real market problem? Do they really need a cryptocurrency, or can this solution be done without having a blockchain or cryptocurrency? There are plenty of different questions you have to ask yourself, but the first step is to just understand what the project is all about. So when it came to looking at the Ocean Protocol ICO, there was so much hype around the project that it seemed like it could potentially be a great investment. So we began reading what the idea was all about, and we were very, very impressed. Essentially, the Ocean Protocol is going to be a data marketplace. For those of you who are new to the channel, we carried out a review of the Enigma protocol a while ago. We were a huge fan of that project. And that was a data marketplace as well. So when we first read that, it sounded like a very good start. Data is definitely not an interesting topic. It's not something that people really like to talk about, but there is a lot of money in it. And we like investing into projects which have a large potential marketplace in which they can expand. So data is a very good marketplace to be in. On top of that, we are huge fans of protocols. You guys are probably sick of hearing us say this by this point. There is something out there called the Fat Protocol Thesis, which basically says that the majority of value in cryptocurrencies is going to be held by the protocols. We're not going to go into more detail than that in this video. We might actually do a whole separate video about it. But basically, what it means for an investor is the protocols tend to be the best things to invest in. So far, knowing that this is a protocol, that was a massive plus for us. Knowing that it was going to be a data marketplace, that was another second big positive for us. And essentially the project wants to be a data marketplace specifically for artificial intelligence. The example that they put forward is self-driving cars. I'm sure the majority of us know that in 10-15 years time there's going to be a lot of self-driving cars on the roads. But there currently aren't many self-driving cars around. And the reason for that isn't because of the algorithms to build those cars, it's actually a lack of data to simulate enough scenarios for self-driving cars to act within. What we're basically saying here is that self-driving cars are an example of artificial intelligence which are limited by the current lack of data that they have access to. The Ocean Protocol wants to get rid of this barrier, so there's more data for artificial intelligence, meaning they can learn faster and make massive steps forwards much more quickly. Honestly, the idea is awesome. They want to create a data marketplace on the protocol level for artificial intelligence. That hits buzzwords as well. That gets people excited about the project, and the idea behind it will also create incredible fundamental value in the project as well. It's fair to say that at this point in our analysis, we were very hyped about this project. And you see many people who review projects out there, and they basically go to this level of depth, and then they recommend that it's a great ICO to invest in. This is where we think you can't simply look at this. You have to look at the other two elements as well. The other element is actually the team, which is something that a lot of reviewers also go into, but you're going to find that it's the third element of this project, which really takes it from being an unbelievable investment to a very bad one, just with one single aspect. Now we're looking at the team. We're not going to go into too much depth here because we want to talk more about the token economics. But the team are very experienced. They're a really fantastic team. We looked at the Enigma team a while ago, and as I said, they're kind of similar due to the fact that they're a protocol level data marketplace, except they're not specifically made for artificial intelligence. They also had a very, very strong team. This arguably is a comparably strong team. When we look at the two founders, these two guys you can see on the top left, even just scanning through their LinkedIn pages, you can see that they have great experience. Jumping out at you there's MIT. This guy's been the CEO of many companies. He has a lot of experience in the industry. Same with his other co-founder. They have a fantastic team. We're not going to go into more depth about that because there really isn't much point. Suffice it to say that at this point we were even more excited about their project. They had an incredible idea. They were on the protocol layer and they have a fantastic team. There was actually a whitelist that opened a few days ago, and there was going to be only 10,000 spots to fill in that whitelist. We found all of this information before the whitelist opened, and we were so excited that we got all of our information ready to submit, and we really did not want to miss out on this whitelist because we definitely wanted to invest in this project until we came to the token economics. And this is where the project really, in our eyes, lets itself down. Depending on what device you're watching this, you might be able to see clearly what's on the screen, you might not. So I'm going to read this out for you guys. And this is where, in this video, I want you guys to really take the lesson of token economics, because this is not only an Ocean Protocol review video, this is really a fantastic actual example of how unbelievably important token economics are. Because as I say, we might not have done an in-depth analysis of this project. If the token economics had been good, we obviously would have continued to do an in-depth analysis and studied the white paper, but we found that the token economics weren't good, so we wouldn't invest in this ICO. But either way, having done just a small analysis into this project, it was pretty clear that the potential behind the project is quite staggering. Considering the area in which this project is operating and the strength of the team, we're more confident that this project is going to be a success than 95% of other projects out there, but none of that matters one little bit if the token economics, when it comes to investing in the ICO, are as poor as they are here. In November 2017, they raised their first funding, which they called the seed fundraising, where they raised 4 million euros and gave away 3.6% of tokens in return for that money. What that means is that at the time, they valued their whole tokens as being worth 111 million. If 3.6% was worth 4 million, then 100% of tokens would be worth 111 million, which when you put into context, that sounds kind of crazy. Valuing yourself at over 100 million euros and probably nearly 150 million dollars at that current point in time. But either way, that was a seed fundraising, and that is not the upcoming fundraising that is going to be occurring soon. They want to raise another 18 million euros, this time in return for 6.4% of tokens, and that's going to be split up into two sections. One will be the early access, which is 3.2%. The other one will be open to the public, which will be another 3.2%, 9 million euros for each. So if we had decided to sign up to this whitelist, we would have been participating in one of these sales where they wanted to raise 9 million euros and only sell 3.2% of tokens. That is a pitifully small amount of tokens, and in fact that gives them a valuation of all of their tokens of 281 million euros. Not even dollars, that's euros, so probably around $350 million. To make matters worse, if you look further along the timeline, you can see that in Q1 2019, they will be having their main sale, and at that point they will be selling just 5.1% of tokens, and I'm sure they'd be at a much higher price than the pre-sale right now, so they would be valuing themselves at even higher. Considering it's already $350 million approximately, they would have to be going for an even higher number. So all in all, if we had signed up to that whitelist, we would have been contributing into a sale where they're only giving away 3.2% of their tokens, and then we wouldn't be able to trade any of those tokens until they've had their main sale and are listed on exchanges. Considering that's Q1 2019, that will be a hold of at least 1 year for a project that's valuing themselves at $350 million already and hasn't even had their main sale. So that is why this project went from being an unbelievable prospect to something that we could never touch during the ICO stage. That's why we wanted to bring this to the attention of you guys and use this as a fantastic example to show how unbelievably important token economics really are, especially when it comes to investing in ICOs. They're very important once the token has hit the exchange, but they're even more important during the ICO. You really have to think about how many tokens are being sold. If you're an American or a UK viewer, you've probably heard of the TV shows Dragon's Den or Shark Tank, where entrepreneurs will go and they will pitch to very rich investors, and they'll basically want a sum of money in return for giving a percentage of their business away. Imagine if someone walked into one of those shows and they tried to give away just 3% of their company in return for 9 million euros. Maybe if they said 60% of their company, but certainly not just 3%. In fact, if Ocean Protocol were selling 60% of their tokens, I would probably be saying that this is the best ICO around right now. That is how unbelievably important token economics are. They can take this from being one of the best projects around if you've got good token economics to being a really poor investment at the ICO stage. So that is really all I wanted to say on the topic today, guys. That's a review of Ocean Protocol, but also that is a lesson to take forwards. Don't ever overlook the token economics of a project, particularly during the ICO stage. For any of you who haven't already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscription button because we're bringing you a lot of great content just like this. We're looking through some cheap ICOs and cheap cryptocurrencies to find us as investors some incredible projects to make us ridiculous returns on our money. So if that interests you, make sure you hit that subscription button. For those of you who have been hitting that subscription button, thank you guys so much. It's you guys who make all of this hard work worth the effort. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. But even if you have hit that subscription button, there is one more thing that you guys should really do. Right next to that subscription button, when you're on the desktop, there is a little bell button. And if you don't click that, you won't get any notifications when there are new videos of ours out. Considering a lot of our videos are about ICOs, which are very, very time sensitive to investing, you don't want to miss out on the latest videos. So make sure you hit that bell symbol as well, and you get to see all of the great content and you'll get a little notification. The very, very, very final thing I want to say before I leave all of you guys today is I want to highlight a fantastic podcast that I recommend. If you want to learn more about cryptocurrencies, you guys should definitely give a listen to these two podcasts. I actually had this tab open in the last video and completely forgot to mention it. These are two podcasts that I've listened through recently. One where Ari Paul was on the show and another where Chris Banuski, who's the guy that wrote Crypto Assets. You might find that the Chris Banuski one is a little bit heavy. They go into a lot of depth on some equations. The Ari Paul interview though is fantastic content. Honestly, as I always say in our videos, we don't claim to be market experts, and I really want to drive that point home, that we don't think that we are market professionals whatsoever. We are still 100% learning in this space, and it's people like Ari Paul and Chris Banuski who you can learn a ton of very, very valuable information off. So that's why we highly recommend these guys to you. So if you are interested in taking your crypto knowledge to the next level, there will be a link in the description, and listen to these two podcasts. They are fantastic listening. I could not recommend them highly enough. But that is it for today, guys. I'm going to leave that with you. From Tom here at CryptoGurus.com, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will speak again very soon.